trust me, you do not have to have it stuck in your mouth for people to hear you. You can sit back as far as I am and pick it up. The only problem is we turn them all on at the same time, or 3 or 4 of them, and get some feedback. So, having said that,
I don't have any of them on, so we have
what?
I didn't turn any of the microphones on.
Yeah, I know, but the system is on. Check that.
Testing.
Oh, meeting to order. We all rise to the pledge of allegiance. Adrian, you want to lead us tonight?
What is it? Like,
You want to lead us in the pledge? Please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call, please.
There.
Here.
Wilson. Absent. Secord.
Here.
Townsend.
Here.
Carpenter here. Williams. Absent. Laker. Absent.
Oh, good stuff. Next, we have the adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made, supported to approve the agenda as presented. Okay, try that. We need more adjustments here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. Passes. Next is approval of the minutes of the August 3, 2021 regular meeting. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 3rd, 2021 regular meeting as presented. Second.
Motion been made, seconded. Any corrections, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We got under special orders, we got the public hearing for truth and taxation. These public comment.
I missed.
Okay, thank you. Not COVID inspired me about this, but anyway. This is something we have every single year to do with the Headley. And, have the sheet here. So I read through this, anybody interested possibly? Maybe we can catch it on the camera. This is from Amanda Kerrigan, our assessor. My office is in receipt of Form L 4028, complete millage reduction fraction computation from Saginaw County Equalization. This form informs the township of any tax millage reduction fractions that may be applied to our millage rate for the 2021 winter tax collection. The 2021 millage reduction fraction to Bridgeport Township is 0.1000, meaning that we will not receive a mandatory Headley rollback of our millage this year. However, our 2021 base tax rate fraction, BTRF, is 0.9878. This BTRF gives the township the option, by way of public hearing, to continue to collect our current operating millage at a rate of 4.7332. Without this hearing, the operating millage would be rolled back to 4.6756, which is 0.056 mils below what we are collecting now. By holding the truth and taxation hearing, we're able to bypass the BTRF and continue to collect our full millage of 4.7332 for the 2021 2021 tax collection. The results of this is an additional $13,573 that we are able to collect that we would not be collecting without this hearing taking place. Again, the Truth in Taxation hearing continues to allow us to continue to collect our millage of 4.7332, which has not changed over the 10 plus years. Therefore, please consider this request for the Bridgeport Township Board of Trustees at their August 3, 2021 hearing is to schedule the board meeting to set the Truth in Taxation hearing for September 7, 2021. Hi, Kelvin. Okay, now we got through that. So at this point in time, I'll ask if there's anyone here that'd like to speak in favor of it. Please say so. Normally you would ask twice, 3 times, but 2 or 3 people being here. Hearing none, we'll open it up for public hearing for those who speak against. Again, hearing none, we'll close the hearing. Okay, next we have public comment. Anyone like to make a public comment? Come forward, stand up where you're at, whatever. Too big rush. So we'll close the public comment. Presentations, we're not having any tonight. Maybe because of the storm, our new county commissioner was invited to come tonight, and along with Dennis Kraft, and maybe they had something else going on in the county, but they're not here tonight. So, having said that, our unfinished business. Next we have R21-10 Truth in Taxation. We get to get a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution R21-10, Truth in Taxation, approval of millage rate as presented. I'll support.
Motion been made and supported. Could we have a roll call, please?
Secord?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Fleischer's absent. Parker, yes. Wilson, absent. Townsend?
Yes. Calvin, I mentioned to everybody before you got here, but Tracy and I did kind of a tune-up on the microphones.
Sure.
And we got them now where you don't have to stick in your mouth to hear. No, don't do that, Calvin.
Hello.
Don't do that. You can have it this far away. Here. That's fine. Just busted my eardrum. But so we can't have all on at the same time. You start to get feedback, which I already did. Okay. So we got that through that, okay? Right? Wait. I don't want to do the taxation also. Next we have board resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of trustee Heather Wilson.
Support.
Motion been made and supported to accept the resignation of Heather Wilson. Heather has done a fine job on the board. She's been on approximately 10 years. And she was very beneficial. If you recall, when we had the Bridge Fest and the rides and all those kind of things, she chaired that for a few years. And we'll definitely miss Heather. The new job that she's taking on, she explained to me that it's causing her to be out of town frequently, which is causing, she's missed a few meetings as a result. So, having said that, could we have a roll call, please?
Williams?
Yes.
Secord?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Fleischer's absent. Parker, yes.
Yes. Okay, and with that, we will have an opening for a board member. We have to fill it within 30 days, so it'll be my intention to fill it probably by the next board meeting. Somebody moving furniture upstairs? Next, we have a conflict of interest policy.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the federal procurement conflict of interest policy as presented.
Second that.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the conflict of interest policy. And just read a little bit here from Ron Rackles. All townships have requested or are planning to request their allocation of ARPA funds must have a federal procurement conflict of interest policy in place. This policy applies to procuring goods, apparatus, supplies, materials, equipment, services, and construction or repair projects funded in part or whole with federal financial assistance, direct or reimbursed, and also prohibits the receiving of gifts from suppliers, contractors, etc. for such purchases or project. MDA recommends adopting the policy. We have a conflict of interest policy and policy on gifts. However, that was only for employees of the township, and this would cover everyone associated with the township, including all board members. Could we have a roll call, please?
Baker is absent. Williams?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Wilson? Absent. Carpenter, yes. Secor?
Yes.
Townsend?
Yes. Next, we have planning commission appointment. I want to make a motion to appoint Mark Schlicker to the planning commission.
So
make
what?
Somebody second it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you make a motion or did?
I made a motion, yeah.
Oh, you made the
I made a
motion.
motion. Anyway, Mark put an application, and he sits in the DEA, and he's lived in the township for years, and a part-time fireman, and various other things, and I'm quite comfortable that he'll do a real good job in the planning commission. Again, could I have a roll call, please?
Secor?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Baker? Absent. Carpenter? Yes. Wilson? Absent. Townsend?
Yes. Next, we have accounts payable.
I will make a motion to approve checks number 68507 through 68638 in the amount of $316,651 and a penny as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported to approve the accounts payable checks. Anyone have any questions? Chance to take a look at the ledger, no issues. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. Pay the bills. Okay, next we have the police department report. Dave, can you slide that microphone down to Dave?
I'll try to speak loud enough.
Okay.
So Ryan Schlicker is finishing up his final phase 4 of his field training. Training's doing well, so hopefully all goes well. He'll be on this whole patrol at the beginning of October. I'm wrapping up the background investigation right now on potential applicants. If everything goes well with her, we'll have her starting at the beginning of October as well. And I just gave out another background packet today to another potential applicant to fill our last remaining spot after that one. So we're lights there at the end of the tunnel to finally fill up our staffing level. We handled 640 calls for service through Saginaw County Central Dispatch for the month of August, compared to 710 calls for the month of July. So as summer starts to wind down, hopefully our calls are going to wind down a little bit too. And want to congratulate the fire department as they celebrate their 80th anniversary of their open house this weekend. And we'll have an officer present there as well with them. And I just want to remind everybody, school started up again today, so you're going to see more school buses out. They've been out all summer with summer school, but they're going to be out even more now. So please watch your speed and watch the traffic and watch the kids as the school buses are out there. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I just wanted to make a comment, Dave. You know, probably all of us that run through Bridgeport and people speeding through, 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, they're running 50 miles an hour through there. And you have to be very careful that at Baker or State and in King, when the light changes, you do not pull out your weight because of the idiots that want to accelerate and go through the red light. And that happened the other day as I was at the light at State and Dixie. I was going to turn left. And the light changed, and I kind of looked this way, and all of a sudden here comes this. What an idiot. So I started to pull out, and all of a sudden, I don't do sirens well, but it was our police car, the two officers in it, with Dennis and Dan, and Dan and I knew what was. But at any rate, yeah, they got him. And I've seen them setting in various places, checking the radar because, everybody goes a few miles over, but there's been times, and I'm sure, unless you're in a police car probably, that you can be doing 3, 4, 5 miles over the speed limit, you still got somebody right on your tail, it's all frustrating. And that's what causes those kind of accidents. They just had another real bad one out on State Street, I was telling them today, and then the one they had there, the lady somebody got killed, exactly, but that was a case of the road rage, from what I understand. It's just pathetic, people just don't use any common sense. Hopefully there's times in our officers can instill some common sense in the okay, I'm done. I got this new microphone now, I just got to talk. Okay, now Dave Schnickel is not here. I understand Adriana has his report.
So the report from the fire department states that the number of calls for, if anyone up there could possibly turn their mic off, I think that might reduce the feedback. Or if not, you can turn. Awesome, thanks. So the number of calls for August 2021 was 119, and the calls for 2021 year to date are 1,014. The current roster is 20 members. This includes 7 persons without fire certification and 1 officer on sick leave. 1 firefighter has had to resign citing conflicts with a new job schedule. This evening, they are holding orientation for 3 new cadets, hence the chief's absence from tonight's board meeting. And this is also the reason for the increase in the overall roster numbers cited. And then also a reminder to all that the fire department open house is this coming Sunday, September 12th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please stop by and meet your firefighters, see the equipment and facilities. Food and refreshments will be provided. I also have my manager's report to go through for September. In terms of the Dixie road construction continues on Dixie Highway. Last week, Tri-Valley and C&M were on site to install topsoil and to take care of any installations or removals left on the north side of Dixie Highway. In addition, C&M installed the guardrail near the Candlelight Bowling Alley, and C&M plans on flipping traffic back over to the other side of the road tomorrow. In addition to that, one thing that I failed to put on my report, which I'm trying to pull up right now, is that there should be a ribbon cutting for the project with Senator Horn on Monday, September 20th. And we're looking at 9 a.m. on Monday, September 20th for that ribbon cutting, and that would be in the parking lot here at the temporary governmental center. We also have, in terms of HR, ongoing openings, including one for a DPW general laborer. The fire department also continues to recruit for on-call firefighters, and we recently hired lifelong Bridgeport resident Mike Kawater at the wastewater treatment plant to fill the position of mechanic operator. I also have an update on the CEDM Fellowship. On Friday, August 27th, CEDM offered our top candidate, Michelle McGregor, the Bridgeport Fellowship, and she accepted. We're extremely happy to welcome Michelle to the township, and onboarding will begin in October. She is somewhat local. She's actually a resident of Saginaw Township, so it'll be a pretty short commute for her. I also have an update on the economic development study, the commercial market study, and the residential target market analysis. As mentioned at the August board meeting, MEDC has officially awarded us the $30,000 technical assistance grant to help us complete the economic development strategic plan. This funding will likely be stacked with other matching sources. We submitted an application for a US EDA grant on August 10th, 2021, and we are currently awaiting their response. We plan to schedule a project kickoff meeting within the next couple of weeks for this economic development strategic plan. We're also working on the annual budget right now for 2022, and with exception to water and wastewater enterprise funds, Ron Ratchwitz and I have reviewed and adjusted the proposed township budgets, and we'll be scheduling meetings with department heads as needed. We do hope to bring that to the board in the next couple months. I also have an update on the ARPA funding. That's the American Rescue Plan Act. Accounting Supervisor Ron Ratchwitz submitted the required paperwork to receive the township's share of ARPA funding on Thursday, July 8th. On Friday, September 3rd, just last Friday, the Michigan Treasury approved our ARPA funding request. We still don't know exactly when that means that they will disperse it, but we will keep you informed on that. I also wanted to give an update on some of the public outreach efforts that we're engaging in right now. We're ramping up efforts to connect with the public. I will be holding 2 Coffee with the Township Manager events this month, one on Thursday, September 9th, and another on Thursday, September 23rd at 9 a.m. at the Bridgeport Big Boy. I hope that any members of the public who have questions about the township will stop by. I'd also like to schedule 2 open houses for the temporary governmental center, one for Wednesday, September 15th, which is actually coming up next week, although I've already checked with some of our board members to see if their schedules are clear, and as far as I am aware, they are. And another for Tuesday, October 19th. And last week, I also attended the Frankentrost Band concert at the Historical Society. And that's it for me.
One really cool thing about this lady that's been selected, she's kind of been through that before. Also, she's very familiar with, obviously living in Saginaw Township, with Saginaw, the surrounding areas and stuff. So she won't need a large orientation into all those things, and obviously familiar with Bridgeport also. So, and she's got experience in that arena, so that's a big plus. The thing I was going to mention is with our fire department, Dave Smeagol, chief, is trying really hard to recruit people. Because obviously we're having the same issue that many communities throughout the station, throughout the nation are having. And these guys are constantly called out of bed, sometimes 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, and for calls or whatever, maybe medical runs, maybe whatever. And got to give them a lot of credit. They have a lot of dedication to do what they do, and then wind up with our 3 guys that are full-time coming in and working all day long on top of it. So hopefully they'll be able to get some relief and get some new people in there and get them trained. Things will start going a little easier for them. So. Okay, now we'll do board comments. Calvin?
No comment.
You got the microphone all set for you now. I didn't even talk.
No comment.
Okay. Daryl?
No comment.
Lee?
No comment.
Jimmy?
Just a couple things. Went over some paperwork last week with Ron, And want to just tell people that he does a really good job, and we're pretty blessed that I can ask him about something that happened 4 months ago, or a number, or why, where'd that $12 go? And he said, we're right here, Jim, like this. And he's, you do a really good job, Rock, and I don't think you get the recognition that you deserve for the hard work you put in, because you, boy, if anybody asks you something, you're a numbers guy and you got it there. And then with what Augie was saying to Dave about the police department, a couple, 2-3 years ago, you didn't see our police department in our whole township. You saw it in the areas that we had trouble in. And now, you're doing a great job, Dave, at making our police visible, even in areas that we don't have much trouble. It's often nice to see a car up and down the road, and you've got them patrolling our whole township, and that means a lot to me in areas that just where people don't think that you patrol because it's not a problem area, and they're seeing a car up down the road now, and I think it helps keep people, like the old lock car keeps honest person honest, and so I think you're doing a real good job of spreading the thin crew that you have around the whole township. Thank you. That's all I do.
There's one issue that Adriana and I have been discussing, and that's the moratorium on rent. And it just ended today. Now, there's been some conversation. We have some people in the township that are in that situation. And there's been some conversation of maybe getting extensions, whether it may go through the state or go through the county or whatever, but we're going to try and keep an eye on it. And, but I think it's something that maybe if something does come along, I'll come back and present something to the board and we can maybe take a look at it. But it's sad because there's a lot of people that really do need help. Not everybody's poor because they choose not to work. Not everybody's poor because they want to live off everybody else. Some of our residents are living on Social Security and have a very, very tough time. So having said that, motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Excuse me. Is it possible for me to just have one comment to make on something? The weather is really bad out there. We had a difficult time getting here, and we missed the public comment. But can the board at least address one more issue?
Yeah, if you want to come up here, you're kind of muffled right now with your mask on, and I appreciate you wearing it if you're more comfortable. But,
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Earlene Lucas. That's my husband Charles. We are part of the Student High's number 1 and 2 neighborhood watch group, and we've been working very closely with Chief Duffett on some ordinance issues and Jamie Sadler as well, and they've been very, very helpful. So has Rob Miller, the blind person. There's a concern that we have. My thoughts and those of our group has always been it's better to be proactive and try to prevent things from happening if there's an opportunity than try to be reactive. We are particularly interested in seeing a little bit more teeth put into police ordinance number 16 as it relates to 3 issues. One of them is to consider eliminating overnight parking on the street, like between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. in Bridgeport Township. That's currently an ordinance in the city. We think this is important because there's been an escalation in gun violence fourfold in Saginaw. A lot of that violence is happening at night at house parties or after house parties or while attending those. And many of them have come more toward the south end of town, which approaches Bridgeport Township. We feel that no parking overnight, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. would reduce the likelihood or the opportunity for something like that to happen. The other thing is just the unfamiliar people in the area late at night. On our street, we had a couple of years ago a house party next door, and 7 vehicles were burglarized. Just this past July 3rd, Bridgeport police had to come out twice because of a house party, and it was the noise situation. And one time out didn't even stop, and it took a second visit from the police at 1:45 in the morning before something was done. So that, we feel like overnight parking would help circumvent those issues. The other issue relates to the parking in paved areas. There is an ordinance that says parking has to occur in a paved area, driveway or whatever. What we have happening a lot is parking in the right-of-way area between the street and the sidewalk. Both the city of Saginaw and Saginaw Township do not allow this. This allows people to park in areas off the street, and if there were an ordinance about no overnight parking, that would circumvent that situation. And the third thing relates to what I consider storage of vehicles on the street. And Chief Duffin has talked about maybe adopting the Uniform Transportation Code. There is MCL 257.674 of Michigan Uniform Traffic Code. It's Route 28-18-14 that states no vehicle shall be continually parked on the street or roadway longer than 48 hours. To do so is considered storage, and no storage is permitted on streets and roadways. What we have happening on our street is a family, a two-car garage family, they have 8 vehicles, a motorcycle and 2 trucks, 2 SUVs, 3 cars, and they continually park 3 cars on the street. One of those cars, I don't know if it moves or not. Chief Duffin did address the issue of 2 of them parked out there that didn't have current licenses. So they did correct that. So thank you for having your officers come out and check on that. But there's one vehicle that never ever moves. I consider that vehicle stored on that street. I don't know if it runs or not. But the problem is, if we had the Uniform Traffic Offense Code, that would be eliminated. And you would not have storage of vehicles. We personally observed ambulances trying to get down the street twice to our neighbor, December 29th and again April 5th, I think it was. And they had to stop because they couldn't get through, because they had 4 cars on one side and 2 other neighbors had 3 cars on the other side, and they couldn't get through. They had to wait till somebody moved their car. And I think that's an unacceptable situation and a safety issue for people to have to live with. I just think that, you know, if we try to be proactive, we can stop some of the issues from happening before they ever occur. And I thank you for the opportunity.
What road do you live on, Jim?
On Toth Road.
On Toth.
And it's a dead-end street.
Yes, ma'am, I know where it's at.
Right.
Off Studer. Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
right. So,
Thank you.
okay?
There's been a number of times now, I and some of the other board members, Bruce Township occasionally, not so much looking for trouble, but looking for those kind of situations.
Right.
And when I see one parked maybe between the road and the sidewalk,
Yeah.
okay, I will make sure I go by like 2 days later. If it's still there,
Yeah.
then I will turn it over to somebody in the police department.
Well, I can tell you the duplexes that are on between Bluebird and Washington, they're duplexes if you turn left right into the subdivision, onto the road.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, and every night, there are 3 sets of duplexes, and their cars parked in that right-of-way area every single night. Now, I understand the convenience for them because they are 1-car garages, and that way they don't have to tandem park and come out and move. But, you know, God forbid that anybody lost control coming through there. You would have nowhere to go to, because those cars are parked there all the time at night, every night. So,
I don't usually speak for the whole board, but I think in this case I can. I think the whole board would agree with what you're asking. And I'm sure that Dave was probably working on it, or maybe along with Adriana, depending if it's something that the county road commission may have to do. You know, as far as the parking and those kind of things. I'm not quite sure how all of that is regulated, so I don't want to make any commitments. But I'm sure we can get together and do something that's legal. I mean, we have also, you know, understandably, we get frustrated a lot of times because of regulations and
Right.
because people have rights.
Right. Well, I understand that, the issue is not roadway, it's for public safety and so forth, and for free commerce to occur, not for nuisance kinds of things.
No, I
These things
totally
are-
agree with you.
Yeah, are public safety issues, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to bring those, and in behalf of the Studer Heights Neighborhood Watch Group, thank you very much, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. If you have a neighborhood watch group, do you meet occasionally and stuff?
We were meeting once a month until March of 2020 because of COVID, and we're going to have our first meeting in 2021, hopefully tomorrow. We're having it outside at our home, and then we'll meet again in October, and then we don't normally meet in November and December, and hopefully we'll start up after that.
Well, the reason I asked that question is in the past, I've attended some of those meetings.
Right.
And so if residents have questions, I would answer them.
Right.
And it may be a case of even Adriana, if she's available, would attend one. With
Well,
you.
we've had Chief Delpit there a couple of times, the police chief
Okay.
before him has been there. We've had Rob Miller, the blight officer, there. So, the fire department has been there. So, we try to keep our members informed. We try to do our part for community service. And if everybody just takes care of their little area, it could be a better place to live. Bridgeport has seen some hard times, and we see a different caliber of people moving in. And unfortunately, sometimes people only listen when there is some teeth behind the requirement. But everybody benefits when you keep your community safe and a safe place for you to live, for your children to live, for your grandkids to live. And that's what we are all about. We're not trying to be a thorn in anybody's side. It's just trying to keep things, safe.
And that's our main objective as a board, and our manager and I know also, and our police and fire, whatever, to keep community, Bridgeport a good community, a safe community, and those kind of things. So it'd be nice if we could just sprinkle some stuff out there and make it all good and everything, but it's just very, very frustrating.
That's called heaven. We have to wait for that.
There's days I'm not quite sure I'm going there. All right, thank you. And again, we'll be glad to help any way we can within reason. And please don't ever, if there's something I don't need to tell you this time, if you got a group of people partying late at night and been drinking, just call the police. Don't try and confront them because the idiots start shooting people, and I know you know that. It's crazy, crazy time. Okay. We're adjourned.